I spent my life protecting my sister, until she stabbed me in the back. Growing up, I was the big brother who would do anything for his little sister. I'm 4 years older than Emma, and since the day she was born, I felt like it was my job to protect her. I'd walk her to school, beat up kids who bullied her, cover for her when she snuck out, and even took the fall for things she did just so our parents wouldn't punish her. Even when we became adults, I never stopped being her shield. When her boyfriend hit her, I was the one who showed up and made sure he never came near her again. When she lost her job, I let her move into my apartment, rent-free. I paid for her food, her phone bill, even helped her pay off some credit card debt. I didn't even question it. I loved her. She was my sister. I thought we were close. Then came the betrayal I never saw coming. I had been saving up to buy my first home. Years of budgeting, working overtime, skipping vacations, all for this dream. I finally had $95,000 saved. I didn't trust banks completely, so I kept it in a safe at home. Yeah, I know. Rookie mistake. One day, I came home from work and found the apartment empty. Emma was gone. So was the safe. The locks hadn't been forced. The door hadn't been broken. Only someone with the key could have gotten in. I called her, no answer. I texted, messaged her on social media. Nothing. A full week went by before I filed a police report. They found the safe dumped and broken open in a park. Empty, of course. It took 2 more weeks to track her down. She was in another state, living with a guy I had never met, in a fancy condo she clearly couldn't afford on her own. When I confronted her, she didn't even deny it. You were always the responsible one, she said, like that was some excuse. You'll bounce back. I needed the money more. I wanted to scream. I wanted to cry. I had protected this person my entire life, and she gutted me without even blinking. I reported her. Pressed charges. Our parents were horrified, but even then, Mom asked me if I could just forgive her. She's your sister. Yeah, she was. But now, she's just another stranger who stabbed me in the back and walked away like it was nothing. I lost the money, and worse, I lost the only family I thought I could always count on. And the worst part? Sometimes, I still miss her. She came back. But not for the reasons I hoped. It had been almost a year since Emma disappeared with my life savings. I tried to move on, but every part of my daily routine reminded me of her. The room she used to sleep in was still half filled with her things. I couldn't bring myself to throw them out. Not yet. Maybe some small part of me still believed she'd come back and apologize. Maybe I was stupid. I didn't realize just how stupid I'd been, until she did come back. One evening, I came home from work and there she was. Sitting on the front steps of my apartment building, looking thinner, paler, and, shockingly, ashamed. Hey, she said, barely above a whisper. My heart stopped. I felt that surge of mixed emotions, rage, pain, nostalgia, longing, all crashing together like a storm. I said nothing. I just stared. I messed up, she muttered. I know I did. I wanted to scream at her. Ask if she thought a few quiet words were enough to fix what she'd broken. But the words caught in my throat. I opened the door. She followed me up. We sat in silence for a while. Then she started talking. The guy she ran off with? Gone. Took the money and dumped her. Apparently, he manipulated her into believing they'd start a new life together, promising marriage, kids, a future. But once the money was gone, so was he. She ended up homeless for a while. Sleeping in shelters. Picking up part-time work at diners and gas stations. She claimed she wanted to come back sooner, but she was too ashamed. I thought you'd never speak to me again, she said. I wouldn't have, I finally replied. If I had any self-respect, I wouldn't be talking to you right now. She nodded, tears in her eyes. But she didn't deny it. For once, no excuses. I don't know what made me say it, but I told her she could stay for the night. Just one. I didn't want her sleeping on the streets. I still had some part of that big brother instinct, buried under all the damage. That one night turned into a week. Then 2. She got a job at a grocery store. Started helping around the apartment. Cooked. Cleaned. Tried to act like things were normal. But they weren't. How could they be? Every time she smiled at me, I remembered the empty safe. Every time she laughed, I remembered the voicemail from the police when they found it smashed open in the park. One night, I caught her in my room. She said she was just looking for laundry. But I saw her eyes dart toward my desk drawer, the one I now kept locked. I didn't say anything, but I knew. Some habits die hard. Eventually, she asked me something I was dreading. Could you ever forgive me? I stared at her for a long time. Why? So you can do it again. Her face crumpled. I saw the pain in her eyes. Maybe it was guilt. Maybe it was regret. Or maybe just shame for getting caught and losing everything. I don't want your money. I just want my brother back, she whispered. And for the first time, I actually laughed. A bitter, broken laugh. You don't get to want that, I said. You don't get to ask for that. You had your brother, every damn year of your life. And when it mattered, you chose money over me. She cried that night. I heard her sobbing from the couch. I didn't comfort her. The next morning, she was gone again. She left a note. Just one line. I understand now what I destroyed. I won't bother you again. I thought that would be the end of it. But 2 months later, I got a call from a lawyer. Apparently, Emma had been working double shifts, saving every penny. She'd hired a lawyer to set up a repayment agreement. She wanted to pay back every cent she stole. No contact. No begging. Just slow, painful redemption. I didn't know whether to be angry or impressed. For the past 8 months, every 2 weeks, I've been getting small deposits into a separate bank account. $200. $250. $300. Always with the note, from E. I haven't spoken to her since she left. I think she finally learned that some things, once broken, can't be fully fixed. But maybe, just maybe, she's trying to rebuild something from the ruins. And maybe one day, I'll be able to forgive her. But not today. Years later, she knocked on my door again. 3 years passed. 3 years of quiet deposits every 2 weeks. I never responded, never reached out. The money kept coming, though the amounts varied. Sometimes more, sometimes less. I didn't care anymore about the total. It was never about the money. It was about what she took when she left: trust, family, blood. I didn't tell anyone I was getting the deposits. Not even our parents. We barely spoke anymore after everything blew up. Dad tried to stay neutral. Mom took Emma's side more than once. She made a mistake, but she's still your sister. As if that excused it. I stopped visiting on holidays. Stopped answering the phone. I built walls, and inside those walls, I found a strange kind of peace. Until she knocked on my door again. It was a Sunday. Rainy. I was getting ready to head out for groceries when I saw her through the peephole. Emma. Older. Her eyes heavier. Hair shorter. Clothes clean but plain. She was holding a small envelope in her hands like it weighed 1,000 pounds. I didn't open the door immediately. I stood there for a full minute, watching her fidget, shift her weight, rub her thumb across the edge of the envelope like a nervous tick. She looked nothing like the person who ran away with $95,000 and everything like the girl I once walked to school in the snow. I opened the door. Slowly. She flinched when she saw me. Like just seeing my face hurt. "Hi," she said. "I'm not here to stay. I need 10 minutes. That's all I'm asking." I said nothing. Just stepped aside and let her in. I don't know why. Maybe part of me still hoped for something. Closure. Or even real remorse. She walked in like she was stepping onto holy ground. The apartment hadn't changed much, though I had finally cleared out her old things a year earlier. It took me too long, honestly. Letting go is harder than people admit. She sat down, placed the envelope on the table. "I've been paying back what I stole," she said quietly. "I know you didn't ask for it. I just wanted you to know I've kept every single record. Receipts, deposit slips, hours worked. It's all in there." I looked at the envelope but didn't touch it. "I never expected you to forgive me," she continued. "I don't even expect you to care. But I couldn't live the rest of my life without saying this to your face. Not over text. Not in some stupid email." I crossed my arms, still silent. I was selfish. And scared. I let someone manipulate me. But I still made the choice. I hurt the only person who ever gave a damn about me. I didn't deserve your protection, or your kindness, and I sure as hell didn't deserve your money. But you gave all of it anyway, and I burned it." She paused, trying to collect herself. "I'm not asking for us to be siblings again. I just need you to know I think about it every single day. I see your face every time I look in the mirror. And the thing that hurts most isn't what I lost, it's what you lost because of me." I finally spoke. "What did I lose?" She swallowed. "Your sense of safety. Your faith in people. The idea that family means something." I looked at her for a long time. "You were the only person in the world I trusted unconditionally," I said. "That's what you took. That's what you smashed when you emptied that safe." Tears filled her eyes, but she didn't look away. "I know," she said. "And I'm sorry." I picked up the envelope, flipped through it. Neat records. Handwritten notes. A spreadsheet of deposits and remaining balance. She had repaid nearly $29,000 so far. "You didn't have to come here," I said finally. "But you did." She nodded. "I had to." "What do you want, Emma?" "Really?" She hesitated. "Not money. Not a second chance. Just, for you to know I'm not that person anymore. And if you ever need me, ever, I'll be there." I laughed bitterly. "I needed you for 30 years. She flinched again. "I know." We sat in silence for a moment. And then she stood up. "I won't take up more of your time. I just wanted to return this." She reached into her coat pocket and pulled out something small. It was the silver key to the safe, the original one. "You kept this?" I asked. "I kept it as a reminder of what I broke," she said. "I haven't opened a safe since. I've barely opened my heart." I didn't take the key. Just stared at it. Then she placed it gently on the table, nodded once, and walked out the door. This time, I didn't stop her. But I didn't lock the door behind her either. A week later. I opened the envelope again. Went over the numbers. $29,314.82 repaid. She didn't owe me the rest anymore. I realized that. Not because I didn't want the money, but because somewhere along the way, she started paying back something deeper. Respect. Guilt. Humanity. I picked up the safe key and held it for a long time in my hand. It felt warm, familiar. Like a relic from a different life. And then, for the first time in years, I texted her. I got the envelope. And the key. You've changed. I see it now. I don't know what the future looks like for us. But maybe, we can talk again. Sometime. No promises. Just, maybe. She replied an hour later. That's all I ever hoped for. Thank you. And somehow, just reading that, I felt a part of me breathe again. This time, I was the one who had to ask for help. 2 more years passed. Emma and I didn't exactly become siblings again overnight. There was no magical moment where everything was fine. But the silence ended. We started texting a few times a month. She'd ask how work was going. I'd ask about her shift schedule. Occasionally, we'd grab coffee, sit awkwardly for an hour, and try to pretend we weren't carrying years of pain in our pockets. But something strange happened during that time. I realized I didn't hate her anymore. And maybe, deep down, I never truly had. She wasn't the sister I grew up with, or the one who broke my heart, or even the girl sobbing on the couch asking for forgiveness. She had become someone new. Someone humbler. Softer. Wiser. And for the first time, I wasn't afraid to talk to her without barbed wire in my voice. Then, last November, my life fell apart. It started with a layoff. My company downsized, and I was one of the first to go. I had savings, sure, but not much. I had just signed a lease on a bigger apartment and put a down payment on a car. Bad timing all around. Then came the medical bills. A simple pain in my stomach turned out to be something far worse, a minor surgery followed by a month of recovery. I had no insurance. No job. And worst of all, no plan. I didn't tell anyone for a while. Not even Emma. I was too proud. Too used to being the one who helped, not the one who needed it. But after I missed 2 rent payments and got an eviction notice, I broke down. One cold Thursday night, I picked up the phone and called her. It rang once. Then twice. Hello, she answered, her voice cautious. I need help, I whispered. I'm sorry. I don't know who else to call. She didn't hesitate. Where are you? I'm coming. Within an hour, she was at my place. She brought groceries, clean blankets, and a box of medication I hadn't even been able to afford yet. She looked around at the half-packed boxes, the shut-off notice on the counter, the stack of unpaid bills. You should have called me sooner, she said gently. I felt a lump in my throat. I didn't want to be a burden. Emma knelt down beside me. You carried me for 30 years. Let me carry you for a little while. I broke down in front of her for the first time in my adult life. Ugly sobs. The kind I had once judged her for. She didn't say anything. Just sat beside me, arms around my shoulders, like I had done for her so many times as kids. That night, she made me soup and stayed on the couch. The next day, she called in a favor with a friend and found me a temp job doing remote logistics work. She gave me 3 months' rent, money she'd clearly been saving up, and wouldn't take no for an answer. You saved my life, she said. I'm just returning the favor. It hit me like a truck. This wasn't repayment anymore. This was love. Not the soft, sentimental kind, but the raw, painful kind. The kind that survives betrayal and bitterness and comes back stronger. I got back on my feet after a few months. Found a new full-time position. Paid her back to the cent, even though she insisted I didn't have to. We started seeing each other every week, dinner, coffee, small walks in the park. It still wasn't perfect. But it was real. Then something happened that changed everything again. One Saturday morning, she handed me an envelope. My stomach sank. For a moment, I thought, not again. But inside was a sonogram photo. "I'm pregnant," she said quietly. "And I want you to be in my child's life, if you want to." I didn't even hesitate. "Of course I do." She smiled, tears welling in her eyes. "I don't want to raise this baby alone. And I want them to know what a real man looks like. What loyalty looks like. What family is supposed to be." I cried again. Not because I was sad. But because I never thought we'd get here. Never thought that girl who once stole everything from me would be the same person I'd be proud to call my sister again. 6 months later. I stood next to her in the delivery room. Held her hand as she screamed and swore and finally brought her daughter into the world. When they placed the baby in her arms, she looked at me. "Meet Lily," she said softly. "Uncle loves you already," I whispered, kissing the baby's tiny forehead. Emma looked at me again. "I don't think I would have survived my life without you," she said. "You've always been my home. Even when I didn't deserve one." For the first time in years, I finally let go of all the resentment. All the weight. I held her hand and said, "Then let's never lose each other again." And this time, we meant it. Lily found out everything. Lily was 10 when she asked me the question I never thought I'd have to answer. "Uncle, why did Mommy cry when you gave her that necklace last Christmas?" I froze. Emma had walked into the room just in time to hear her daughter's words. She sat down beside Lily, pulled her close, and looked at me. We had agreed, when the time came, we'd tell her the truth. Not all the details. But enough. Emma took a deep breath. "When I was younger, I made some really bad mistakes," she said softly. "I hurt people who loved me, especially your uncle. But he forgave me. Slowly. And because of that, we found each other again." Lily looked at me. "You were mad at Mommy?" I smiled gently. "Yes, very. But I never stopped loving her. And I never stopped hoping she'd come back." Lily nodded slowly. "You're both okay now?" "We are," I said. "We're stronger than ever." She thought for a moment, then said, "That's kind of like a hero story, except with family." Emma's eyes filled with tears. She pulled her daughter into a hug. "No," she whispered. "It's better than a hero story. It's real." And as I watched them together, I realized. Sometimes, the hardest stories don't end in perfect forgiveness or complete healing. But if there's love, and effort, sometimes they end in something even more rare. Peace.